Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will be talking about my lowest rated on Goodreads. And I've only included 3 books in this video just to make it not be too long. And anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. Let's get straight into it. The first book I will be talking about is Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll. First, I will be reading at the back so you kind of get a gist of what goes on. Her perfect life is a perfect lie. Annie Finelli has the perfect life, but behind her sharp edges, a meticulously crafted facade lies in the darkest of pasts. When a documentary producer invites Annie to tell her side of the chilling and violent incident that took place when she was a teenager at the prestigious Bradley School, she hopes it will present an opportunity to prove how far she's turned her life around since then. She'll even let the production company film her lavish wedding, the final step in her transformation. But as the wedding and filming converge, Annie's immaculate veneers start to crack. Will breaking her silence destroy all she has worked for, or will it at long last set her free? Whoops. I don't know what it is that I didn't enjoy about this book. It's just, I found, I didn't enjoy this book whatsoever, and I was expecting to enjoy it just because of, the front of it looks quite good, and the back of it sounds good. But I didn't end up enjoying it whatsoever. And, throughout reading this book, I feel like the book or author couldn't quite decide whether this would be a YA book or a proper adult book. At some points I was getting the gist that it was a bit of a YA book, then others it was oh, maybe this is for the older audience. And it did really confuse me. And at some points I was very confused on whether there wasn't an affair going on or whether it was just a weird instance. And going back to where it says about the violent incident, I feel like it doesn't go into that very much detail about it. And even though it does at some points, later on in life, it doesn't, because it goes does flashbacks to around this violent event that took place when she's younger. And yes, the author did establish what happened, but the thing is, what I found that is, it would go back to that and talk about it, but it wouldn't go into as much detail when she'd come back to the present. And going back to the wedding, I feel like that wasn't as mentioned as much as it could throughout the book, and I just didn't end up enjoying this book overall, and I ended up giving this book only 1 star on Goodreads, which is, I think, the lowest I've ever given a book. So yeah, I didn't enjoy this whatsoever, but the only reason I finished this book is because I kind of was hoping that more would happen, and that more, that more would be given to us as the reader, but it was just very the same throughout, if that makes any sense. So yeah, this is the lowest rating I've given a book, which was only 1 star. Moving on to the next book, which I will be talking about in this video, is Tideline by Penny Hancock, which I was quite interested to read it because I was very engrossed in the the back of it, which I'll read in a minute, and I feel like it looked quite interesting. And at the top it says, brilliantly written and totally gripping by S.J. Watson, author of Before I Go to Sleep, which is a book that I have read and I did thoroughly enjoy. So I was like, I would have thought I would read that, I would enjoy this, but I just ended up not enjoying it. I remember being quite confused throughout the story, and on the front there it says, he chose to come to the river house. She chose to keep him there forever. And then on the back it says, he comes to me when the chatter of the school children has died away. This is a silent time, almost as if the river and I are waiting. On a winter's afternoon, Sonia opens door to her beautiful Greenwich home to a 15-year-old Jez, the nephew of a family friend. He's come to borrow some music. Sonia invites him in, pours him a drink, and realises she can never let him leave. Haunted by the memories of an intense past relationship, Sonia is filled with an overpowering desire to keep Jez hidden and protected from the outside world. It is as though her own life depends on it, and outside, on the shores of the Thames, long-held secrets are coming in on the tide. And I found that with this book, it was quite a very slow burner, and I did struggle to get into it. Like, the thing is, I found that to actually get into it and not engrossed in the story, but actually engrossed into what would happen next, it took me about like over halfway of the book to actually wonder what's happened next and question it. And the thing is, with this book, it talks about her relationship with Jez and her attachment towards him. It goes into that in detail, but the thing is, I was very confused on why she had this obsession with Jez, and I was very confused as to why she wants to keep him. And like about the middle to the end, the book starts having flashbacks to her when she's younger and her relationship with this other boy, which I can't exactly... Seb, his name was. And I was very confused on what her relationship with Seb was. I couldn't understand why or who Seb was. I couldn't work out whether Seb was Sonia's brother or just a friend who she used to see on every day. And that, like, when Seb was introduced, that confused me even more. And I feel like it wasn't made very clear who he was until about the end, and it wasn't until the end then when I was like, oh, maybe he was her brother. But even then I was a bit baffled. I feel like that wasn't made very clear. And another issue is what I found with this story is that I didn't quite understand why Sonia acted the way she did towards Jez, and why she, this is a spoiler by the way, why she kidnaps him and like why she poisons him in a way, because she makes him ill just so she gets to keep him. And I don't understand why she does that, or why she has this obsession with him. Like, that did very confuse me throughout the story. And it could have just been me. It could just be me getting confused. But I just was confused throughout a lot of this storyline. I feel like the storyline could have been so brilliant, but it's just the way it was written was very confusing, and I just didn't seem to understand what was going on. So yeah, and I ended up rating this book a 2-star on Goodreads. Maybe one of you guys might end up enjoying it, but I just didn't. It didn't seem to like go very well. Like, I did end up finishing it, but it just confused me. Like, there's nothing else I can really say about it. I was just confused. So yeah, and then let's move straight on to the next book. Moving on to the last book which I will be talking about, and that book is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, which I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name right, but I was quite looking forward to reading this book because I had heard quite a few booktubers talk about it, such as Tisha Drew Merry, which I do quite watch a lot of, and she spoke about this book and I think she enjoyed it. I can't remember. So in about January time I decided to order it myself to give it a read, but I just ended up not enjoying it. I don't know whether it was the development of the story or the plot or what. It just confused me. And I'll quickly read the back for you and then I'll carry on and explaining why I didn't enjoy it. On a trip to the south of France, a shy heroine of Rebecca falls in love with Maxime de Winter, a wealthy, handsome widower. But as they arrive to Manderley, his Cornish mansion, a change comes over Max and the young bride is filled with dread. Friendless in the isolated house, she realises she barely knows the man she has married, and in every corner of every room is the phantom of this beautiful first wife, Rebecca. And the thing is with this book, I found that it was very, very long-winded. Like, there was some bits which I found very long-winded, and those bits I just got bored. Then I would be interested in something will happen and I'll be interested in it, but that thing ended up ending really quickly and it would move on to something else. So then I'll get confused, and I got very confused in the Ghost Rebecca. I found that I didn't think it came across very much as a ghost. I feel like the maid in it is the one that made Rebecca constantly be coming back and made her constantly be some sort of present, if that makes sense. And I feel I don't understand why I didn't enjoy it. I just got bored very easily. I'm not sure what about it, but I've read books very similar to this before and I've enjoyed, but I don't know what it was with this book. There was some points in the story where I was like, oh, should I stop reading it, should I not? And going back to where it says about when they return, a change comes over Max, but I didn't feel like I noticed that change until near the end of the story, and I feel like you don't quite understand you don't quite understand Rebecca's presence until the end. I didn't quite start enjoying it until about the end of the book, when things started making sense. But even then, when things started making sense, it would go back and then I'll go back to being confused again. I don't know whether that was just me and just me not gelling well with the book or what, but I ended up rating this only 2 stars. I'm thinking about ordering another book by Daphne du Maurier just to try out whether it was just a storyline or what. But yeah, I didn't end up enjoying this book as much as I expected to, which was, I was kind of gutted, but it could just be the plot or I don't know. I don't. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I would like you guys to leave down below your least favourite books and why they were your least favourite. I'd also like you to leave down below your favourite books or books you suggest for me to read, and I'll definitely give them a go. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was quite a quick one and it's not as jam-packed as my previous videos, but I thought this is a bit different, and if you have read these books, please leave your opinions down below so we could have a chat about it. Anyway, I hope to see you next week. Bye!